Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High Christ bless, Most High Christ bless. We're going to get started in a few. Just want to make sure everybody can hear me good.
You alright? Music sound good, so they all vibe to it. Scriptures coming out and they all slide to it. Ever seen the sun in the nighttime? So they all vibe to it. Scriptures coming out and they all slide to it. Ever seen the sun in the nighttime? It was purposely done.
All right, all praise to the Most High. Think everybody can hear me pretty good. We about to get rolling, Israel. So The title of the class, we're going to be going into history. And by the way, this is History in the AM. All right, we're going to be covering history this morning. All praise to the Most High for another opportunity to teach class. Officer Michael coming out of IUIC Raleigh. So we're going to be going into the kings of Judah. All right, kings of Judah. We're going to be starting off with Rehoboam. Most of us is pretty familiar with Solomon and his reign and the things that went on with Solomon. But we're gonna go into his lineage, his sons after him, and their history. All right, so that's what we're gonna be covering. Lord's willing, as I continue to do history in the AM, we can go into it further. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get into it. We're gonna start off in First Kings. There's gonna be some reading, of course. So we're gonna get right into it. We're gonna start in First Kings chapter 11. And we're going to start at verse 1. First Kings chapter 11 and verse 1. All right. But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites. Of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, Ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you. For surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love. So we know this is during the time when King Solomon got old. He went off. He started dealing with strange women. All these women of the other nations started worshiping their gods. And ultimately, this cost the kingdom. Okay? The kingdom didn't get split during his time, but the kingdom got split during his son's Rehoboam's time. But this is the cause of everything that we're going through today. Okay, from the split to Northern Kingdom being scattered to Judah being scattered. All right, to where we at here now today, gathering the 12 tribes. So it stems from Solomon's sin and then the split, and therefore here we are today. This is the history that Christianity don't know, don't understand. That's why when they get into Paul's letters and they start talking about Jew and Gentile and Galatians 3:28, and they try to go into Romans 11, they don't understand this pivotal point in the scriptures of what happened to the nation of Israel. So it's important that we go over this history. Very, very important. So I'm going to read verse 2 again. It says, Of these nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, Ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you. So that's going back to Deuteronomy 7 and 3. Let's get that. Deuteronomy, because we still deal with it today. Interracial marriage. That's not supposed to be going on in the nation of Israel. You have 12 tribes to choose from, brothers and sisters. Okay, we have everything that you can think of. All right, you do not have to go deal with the white man, the Chinese, the Arabs. You don't have to do that. Okay, God set it up that way that we can have what we need to have within our own nation, as far as you want to get married to somebody. Okay, Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them, thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter thou shalt not take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me. See, this is what happened to King Solomon. Okay, Solomon went and started dealing with these strange women, and they surely turned his mind from the Most High. Solomon went off. Okay, so for they would turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. So this is what happened. Solomon broke this commandment right here. And by Solomon breaking this commandment, it cost us the whole kingdom. That's why we can't play around with sin. Sin is detrimental to us. Understand that. Sin is detrimental. So when we fall into that thing, it can cost us everything. So now, let's go back. Verse 2 again. It says, Of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, Ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you. For surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave to these in love. So Solomon went off right there. Let's jump down to verse 5. For Solomon went after Ashtaroth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. So these are some of the gods that Solomon started to go into. Okay, remember what we read in Deuteronomy 7:3. You're gonna be following the other nations' gods when you're dealing with them. Okay, those of you that like to that's in the world right now, you like to deal with white people. Guess what? You follow Cesar Borgia. You follow the white image of Jesus Christ. That is your God now. Guess what happens if you married to an Arab? Guess what? You gonna make your Hajj and go walk around that rock called the cobblestone. That's what you gonna do. But the Lord said we ain't supposed to do that because we will follow their gods if we start dealing with them. Okay, let's go. Let's keep reading. And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord and went not fully after the Lord as David his father. Then did Solomon build an high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, in the hill that was before Jerusalem, and Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon. And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrificed unto their gods. And the Lord was angry with Solomon because his heart was turned from the Lord God of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice and had commanded him concerning this thing that he should not go after other gods, but kept not that which the Lord commanded. Wherefore the Lord said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and will give it to thy servant. So you see what the judgment was? The Lord said, you know what? I done had enough, Solomon. You're dealing with these strange women. Now I'm going to take the kingdom from you and give it to your servant. Here we go. Verse 12. Notwithstanding, in thy days I will not do it for David thy father's sake. So the Lord telling Solomon right here, I ain't gonna do it right now. I'm not gonna judge you right now. You're gonna continue in your kingdom because the covenant that I made with your father. I loved your father, right? He said, but I will rend it out of the hand of thy son. Who is his son? Rehoboam. So the Lord said, I'm not going to take the kingdom from you right now, but when your son come into rulership, the kingdom will be taken away from him. So this is where we at today, people. Let me give me some water. This is where we at today. So now, let's jump down to verse 41. Now we're about to get into Rehoboam. So it says, and the rest of the acts of Solomon and all that he did and his wisdom, are they not written in the book of the acts of Solomon? And the time that Solomon reigned in Jerusalem over all Israel was 40 years. And Solomon slept with his fathers and was buried in the city of David his father, and Rehoboam his son reigned in his stead. So this is where the transition happens. Okay, Solomon passed. When you read chapter 11, it goes into what caused the split. Um, the Lord prophesying to Solomon, okay, that his servant Jeroboam would get the 10 tribes, and then his son Rehoboam would get the remaining 3 tribes of the nation of Israel. Okay, so when Rehoboam comes into power, we're gonna go into what happened as far as when we go back to verse uh 12. It says, notwithstanding in thy days, I will not do it for David thy father's sake, but I will rend it out of thy hand, out of the hand of thy son. Okay, he was going to rend it out of the hand of Solomon's son. So now let's get into the history of that. We're going to go right into chapter 12 and verse 1. And Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel were come to Shechem to make him king. And it came to pass when Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who was yet in Egypt, heard of it, for he was fled from the presence of King Solomon, and Jeroboam dwelt in Egypt, that they sent and called unto him, and Jeroboam and all the congregation of Israel came and spake unto Rehoboam, saying, Thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore make thou the grievous service of thy father and his heavy yoke which he put upon us lighter, and we will serve thee. So Jeroboam, now when you go back to chapter 11, Jeroboam has fled from Solomon because Solomon was trying to kill him. Okay, Jeroboam had fled to Egypt to get away from Solomon. Now Solomon is dead. Jeroboam is coming back. Now Jeroboam was Solomon's servant. Okay, and the Lord told Solomon through the prophet Ahijah that Jeroboam was going to get those tribes. Okay, so Jeroboam comes back in the picture, and now Rehoboam has been set up as king, and it says when you read verse 3 again, that they sent and called him, and Jeroboam and all the congregation of Israel came and spake unto Rehoboam, saying, Thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore make thou the grievous service of thy father and his heavy yoke, which he put upon us, lighter, and we will serve thee. So this is what they coming to Rehoboam with. Okay, all the nation of Israel, which is the northern kingdom here. Okay, this is northern kingdom coming to Rehoboam, asking him to make things a little easier from what they had when his father was in rulership. Okay, and they said, "Hey, if you do this, we was going to serve you." Let's keep reading. It says, verse 5, And he said unto them, Depart yet for 3 days, then come again to me. And the people departed. And King Rehoboam consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon his father, while he yet lived, and said, How do ye advise that I may answer this people? So Rehoboam went to his father's councilmen, okay, the older men, okay, they've been with his father, they counseled his father. Rehoboam went to these men and say, okay, what should I do about this matter? How do y'all see that I answer the people, right? Verse 7, And they spake unto him, saying, If thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and will serve them and answer them and speak good words to them, then they will be thy servants forever. You see what? You see that? That's why when you're in leadership, right? Because Rehoboam was the king. We are supposed to be servants to the people. Let me see something right quick. Let me see something right quick. Let's get Matthew 23 real quick. Matthew 23. Let me see here. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see. Matthew 23. See, just a minute. I know this is good. Oh, 22. Okay, that's right. 23 and 11. All right. Matthew chapter 23 and verse 11. It says, But he that is greatest among you shall be your servant. Okay, and whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that shall humble himself shall be exalted. So when we go back to 1 Kings chapter 12, okay, and what the old man told Solomon, and they said, and they spake unto him, saying, If thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and will serve them and answer them and speak good words to them, then they will be thy servants forever. You see that? I'm gonna go back to Matthew 23 and 11 now. But he that is greatest among you shall be your servant. Okay, so you're not in leadership, you're not in a position of authority to abuse the people. And that's the lesson that's one of the lessons that you learn in this chapter. Okay, you can't be put in a position where you come in and you abuse the people. That's not what we suppose. That's not the mindset of a leader. To get in rank or to get in a position and now you start abusing the people. You can't do that. Let me see something else. Let me see Sirach, I think it's 33. Let me find it. No, you can't abuse the people. You got to make sure we in the spirit. Sirach chapter 33 verse 17. Consider that I labor not for myself only. You're not put in a position, okay, for yourself. This is not for you to get all the shine and you the big dog and everything is about you. It's not about you. It says, consider that I labor not for myself only, but for all them that seek learning. Okay? We're here to guide the people. We're here to instruct the people. But most of all, we're here to be an example to the people. That's what a leader is about. Being a leader is about. You know what I'm saying? It's not about you sitting on your high seat and everybody see, that's what the Christian church is about. That's what the Christian church is about. That's why it's always my pastor said this, my pastor said that. No, 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 no. It's not about your pastor. It's about the Lord Jesus Christ, the black Messiah. The men that's in a position of being in leadership, we are here to serve the people. We are here to labor for the people. Let me get Philippians 2. This is not about you being in a position and now it's time for you to act the fool. That ain't what this is about here. Philippians chapter 2 and verse, we're gonna start at 7. It says, he's talking about the Lord here. Matter of fact, we're gonna start at verse 3. Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory. See, a lot of times, brothers and sisters, they want to get in positions because they're vainglorious. You want to be in a certain place in the body because you have a vainglorious spirit, right? But the Lord said, let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem each other better than themselves. Look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others. This is a leader right here. Christ, this is Paul is going into how Christ moved. Christ didn't look on the things of himself. Remember, y'all, he went to the cross for the nation of Israel. He went to the cross. He put his life on the line for us. He was the ultimate servant. That's how a king and a leader supposed to roll. Be willing to die for his people, right? It says, look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus, who being in the form of God thought it not robbery to be equal with God, but made himself of no reputation. See, that show you Christ was humble. He wasn't trying to be seen. He wasn't trying to be all out there like that. Many times when he did miracles, he would tell people, "Don't tell nobody I did this." Okay, because he wasn't trying to be famous. That's not what he was looking for. He was on a mission to come and give the children of Israel the word, heal them, teach them, and die for them. Understand it. So it says, but made himself of no reputation and took upon him the form of a servant. You see that? And was made in the likeness of men. And being found in fashion as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death, even the death of the cross. So that's what the Lord was about. That's the mindset of a leader right here. So now let's go back to 1 Kings chapter 12, and let's pick back up at verse 7 again. So it says, and they spake unto him, saying, if thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and will serve them and answer them and speak good words to them, then they will be thy servants forever. Verse 8 now. But he forsook the counsel of the old men which they given him, and consulted the young men that were grown up with him, and which stood before him. So now the old men gave good counsel to Solomon, to Rehoboam. Told him, listen to the people, be a servant to the people, humble yourselves, Rehoboam. Okay, don't go off, don't trip out. But he didn't listen to the old men. He forsook the counsel. Okay, these old men was the leaders in the nation. Okay, they sat with his father, so they knew how to give counsel. And that's a lesson for us today here again. You got people that's been in this body a long time. Okay, that sat at the leadership table, big sisters done been dealing in councils and everything. Those are the people that you want to counsel with. This is a lesson where you don't counsel across or down. You understand? Listen to me again. You don't counsel across, meaning, let's say you're officer, a soldier, right? You don't counsel with another soldier in matters of marriage. You don't counsel like that. Neither should you counsel with a brother in matters of marriage. That's just an example. Okay? You always counsel up. That's why we have what you call a chain of command. Okay? Rehoboam counseled with his peers. Rehoboam counseled with somebody that he knew that was going to agree with what his mind was already thinking of doing evil. He wanted somebody that's going to tell him what it was. Rehoboam had yes men around him. That's what it was. He had yes men. So let me read again, verse 8. But he forsook the counsel of the old men which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him and which stood before him. Let's go to Proverbs 15. Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 22. Without counsel, purposes are disappointed, but in the multitude of counselors, they are established. You see that? That's why counsel is so important, and listening to the right counsel and getting counsel properly. Because the counsel that the old men was given, that they was giving Rehoboam, that was good counsel. If we would have been the Lord's will and things would have went that way, we probably wouldn't be in the position we're in today. But it was of the Lord. But that was good counsel they was giving Rehoboam. A lot of us sometimes we get good counsel or we don't counsel at all. And I'm gonna read this again. Without counsel, purposes are disappointed. You see that? When you don't get no counsel, especially in this truth, whatever you're trying to do, and you don't let the leadership know or the person that's appointed to you, you don't let them know what's going on, so they can give you some scriptures on how to maneuver and get guidance through that situation. That thing gonna be disappointed real bad. And you're gonna be looking like, what happened? And then a lot of times people come in after the fact, after you done the deed, it's all over with, it's a big mess. Now you want to get counsel on how you should fix this. Well, you already made a decision. So what we gonna do about it? You know what I'm saying? So we gotta make sure we get counsel beforehand and listen to the counsel. Let's get Proverbs 20 and 18. Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 18. It says every purpose is established by counsel. You see that? It didn't say some purposes. It says every purpose is established by counsel. Understand it, especially in marriage. When you brothers and sisters are proving or wanting to prove, that purpose right there needs to be established by counsel. The scriptures say, do nothing without advice. Nothing without advice. Let me read again. It says, every purpose is established by counsel. And with good advice, here we go. And with good advice, make war. That's what you want to get. You want to get that good advice. The counsel that the old men gave Rehoboam, okay, to be a servant, that was good advice. I know a lot of us, we can attest that we have gotten good advice from our leadership in this truth. And when we listen to it, we seen the outcome of it was good, because what they was giving us was the scriptures to apply in the situation that we was going through at that time. That's why it's so important to get counsel. You don't have to fall flat on your face, Israel. We don't have to. The Lord got us set up to get counsel in every decision that you're about to make. You understand? Now, no, that's not to say we're gonna hold your hand and tell you to go here. Like, no, we're not gonna be we're not gonna be ruling over you, being lords over the flock, where we making you do stuff. That's not what we're here to do. Okay? We give you counsel, we give you scriptures, then it's on you to follow and apply and follow instructions. You understand what I'm saying? But it says every purpose is established by counsel. and with good advice make war. So now let's go to Proverbs chapter 1. Proverbs chapter 1. Proverbs chapter 1, and we're going to read verse 7. Proverbs chapter 1 and verse 7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. That's what happened to Rehoboam. He was being a fool. Some of us fall into that category. We fall into being foolish, being a fool, by not following the counsel. So it says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. And that's what Solomon was given by those old men. He was given good wisdom, good advice, good instruction, but because he had a foolish mindset, he didn't follow nothing. Okay, so now let's go back to 1 Kings chapter 12, verse 8 again. But he forsook the counsel of the old men which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him, and which stood before him. Verse 9. And he said unto them, what counsel give ye that we may answer this people, who have spoken to me, saying, make the yoke which thy father did put upon us lighter? And the young men that were grown up with him spake, and said unto him, saying, thus shalt thou speak unto this people that spake unto thee, saying, thy father made our yoke heavy, but make thou it lighter unto us. Thus shalt thou say unto them, my little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins. And now, whereas my father did lay you with a heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke. My father have chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. So you see that? Rehoboam went off in dealing with the people. He just went off. He said, you know what? I'm going to treat you like crap. That's what he said. Let me see if I can find a scripture. Hold on right quick. Talk about dealing with the people with roughness. Right. Sirach chapter 10 and verse 21. Sirach chapter 10, verse 21. The fear of the Lord goeth before the obtaining of authority. You see that? Listen, you got to have fear of the Lord before you be put in a position, before you even want to be put in a position. If you know you don't fear the Lord, don't be trying to jock for rank, because you don't understand for you brothers, when you jockeying for rank and your mind ain't on the people, when brothers do get placed under you, or even you sisters, right? You get into a role of being a big sister and a sister that's giving counsel, and you just want to do it just to be in charge of somebody, right? You gonna destroy a spirit, and the Lord gonna hold you accountable for that. Understand that. It's not nothing to be playing around with. So it says, the fear the fear of the Lord goeth before the obtaining of authority, but roughness and pride is the losing thereof. I'm gonna read it again. The fear of the Lord goeth before the obtaining of authority, but roughness and pride. A lot of times, and we done dealt with it in the body, brothers get in a position of authority, sisters get in a position of authority, and you start dealing with the people rough. You start dealing with the people with a prideful spirit. Nobody wants to talk to you. Nobody wants to deal with you. It's always issues with you and somebody. That's a problem, because you got a spirit on you of preeminence. That's one thing. And you just want to be ruling over people. Some people got that spirit on them like that. They just want to be the head honcho, want to be the chief, right? But it says, but roughness and pride is the losing thereof. So when we go back to 1 Kings chapter 12, Rehoboam said, I will add to your yoke. My father have chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. Meaning what? He was going to be dealing with the people way worse than what his father dealt. This is the answer that they gave him, that he gave them. So we see he didn't listen to the old men that told him to be a servant to them. He said, you know what? No, I'm gonna listen to what my homie said. We gonna get it in. We about to put some heavy feathers on Israel because I want to do my thing. You understand? So now, verse 12. So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam the third day, as the king had appointed, saying, come to me again the third day. And the king answered, and the people and the king answered the people roughly, and forsook the old men's counsel that they gave him. You see that? He didn't listen. He didn't follow the instruction of the old men. And spake to them after the counsel of the young men. That's why I said, don't counsel here, across, or down. You counsel up. Counsel up. It says, and spake to them after the counsel of the young men, saying, my father made your yoke heavy, and I will add to your yoke. My father also chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. Wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was from the Lord. You see that? The cause was from the Lord. The Lord had this thing set up from the very beginning for the 12 tribes to split. Okay? We read in chapter 11 what led to that cause. Okay? Solomon dealing with these strange women. The Lord rent the kingdom from them. And now here we go into the split. It's a lot of things that happen here. That's why I say the Christian church don't understand these scriptures. They don't understand this history. This history is the backbone of what happened to the nation of Israel. You got to know this. So it says, wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was from the Lord, that he might perform his saying which the Lord spake by Ahijah the Shilonite unto Jeroboam the son of Nebat. So when all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them, the people answered the king, saying, what portion have we in David? Neither have we an inheritance in the son of Jesse. To your tents, O Israel, now see to thine own house, David. So Israel departed unto their tents. So verse 16 is the split. Okay? Jeroboam brought the kingdom of Israel to Rehoboam, and Rehoboam said, you know what? I'm gonna make things harder for you. Jeroboam said, I think not. We out. Peace. Okay? And there's the split. Okay, now the nation is split in two. That's why when you read in Ezekiel 37, Romans 11, we ain't gonna get it. It talks about being grafted back in. Ezekiel 37 talks about the two sticks being brought back together, meaning the nation of Israel being brought back together. Okay? Their brotherhood being reformed. That's what that's going. That's what all the scriptures. That's when you read this history right there. That's why when you read, matter of fact, let's get it. I gotta get it. Let's go to Ezekiel 37, so you can understand. Because I know we may have some Christians on. They don't like to read the Old Testament to understand the history thereof. So we gotta help them out. I'm gonna read verse 16 again in 1 Kings chapter 12. It said, so when all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them, the people answered the king, saying, what portion have we in David? Neither have we an inheritance in the son of Jesse. To your tents, O Israel. Now see to thine own house, David. So Israel departed unto their tents. This is the split. I'm going to say it again. For you new people that's may be coming in, or you Christians that's watching, this is the split. So now, when we go to Ezekiel chapter 37, and we read stuff like, here we go. Ezekiel chapter 37, and we're going to read verse 20. Verse 20. And the sticks whereon thou writest shall be in thy hand before their eyes. And say unto them, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whether they be gone, and will gather them on every side, and bring them into their own land. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all, and they shall be no more two nations. You hear that? It says they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they divide be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all. We just read the division, the split in verse 16 of 1 Kings chapter 12. You Christians, you got to know this. So when you get to Paul's letters, you don't fall way off the horse and be talking about now white folks can be saved. John 3:16 and all that crap. You got to know this history, man. So this is why we're doing history in the AM, by the way. So we can have an understanding of what happened to our nation, right? I'm gonna go back to Ezekiel chapter 37, verse 22 again. And I will make them one nation in thy land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all, and they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all. It says, neither shall they defile themselves any more with their idols, nor their detestable things, nor with any of their transgression, but I will save them out of all their dwelling places wherein they have sinned, and will cleanse them. So shall they be my people, and I will be their God. Okay? Matter of fact, let me jump up to verse 15 now. That's what I wanted. Verse 15. The word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick and write it upon it for Judah and for the children of Israel, his companions. It's talking about Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, right? Those are his companions. It says, then take another stick and write upon it for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel, his companions. Okay, that's Ephraim, Manasseh, and all the tribes of northern kingdom, Issachar, Gad, right, Reuben, and join them one to another unto one stick, and they shall become one in thy hand. Okay, and when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, what thou wilt thou not show us what thou meanest by these? Say unto them, thus saith the Lord, behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel his fellows, and will put them with him, even with the stick of Judah, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in my hand. Okay, why would we have to be rejoined like this? Verse 16 again of chapter 12, 1 Kings chapter 12, verse 16. So when all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them, the people answered the king, saying, what portion have we in David? Neither have we neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse. To your tents, O Israel. Now see to thy own house, David. So Israel departed unto their tents. That's the split. This is why you read Ezekiel 37. This is why you read Romans 11. Because of what happened in 1 Kings chapter 12. Okay? So we got to know the history, Israel. All right? So now, let's go to, now that the split has been covered, right? And Rehoboam going off, not following the counsel. Now we're going to get into Rehoboam life after all this, right? A little bit. Let's go to 1 Kings chapter 12, and we're going to jump up to verse 21. And when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he assembled all the house of Judah with the tribe of Benjamin, 180,000 chosen men, which were warriors to fight against the house of Israel, to bring the kingdom again to Rehoboam, the son of Solomon. So you see, Rehoboam, like, that's how prideful he was. He wasn't happy with Israel leaving him, so he's now going to try to go war with Israel, right? So it says, verse 22. But the word of God came unto Shemaiah, the man of God, saying, speak unto Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and to all the house of Judah and Benjamin, and say, and to the remnant of the people, saying, thus saith the Lord, ye shall not go up nor fight against your brethren, the children of Israel. Return every man to his house, for this thing is from me. They hearken therefore unto the word of the Lord, and return to depart according to the word of the Lord. So we see Rehoboam, he get pissed off that northern kingdom went back to their tents. He wanted to try to go war with them, but the prophet Shemaiah, the word came to the prophet Shemaiah, and he told Rehoboam and Judah and Benjamin, do not go fight against your brothers. This thing is from me. Why? Because he was going to lead into the ushering in of the Messiah to bring the kingdoms back together. That's what the whole New Testament is about. Bringing the nation of Israel back together as one again. So when you read there's neither Jew nor Greek, that's talking about the southern and northern kingdom of Israel being rejoined. That's what it's going into. So now, Rehoboam, now he's trying and wanting to fight against Israel for leaving him. But the Lord said, don't do that. So now, when you read in the scriptures, the book of Kings is primarily going to the northern kingdom kings. Okay, I'm going to say it again. The book of Kings is primarily going into the northern kingdom of kings. Now, you do read about southern kingdom kings, but you go more into depth with the kingdom of Judah and their kings when you go into the book of Chronicles. So that's where we're going to go now. Second Chronicles chapter 11. And we're going to start at verse 1. All right. So like I said, Chronicles go more in depth with the kings of Judah. All right. All right. Second Chronicles chapter 11, and we're going to start at verse 1. Just going in more history on Rehoboam. Just like a repeat of what we just read, dealing with how Rehoboam wanted to go in war with Northern Kingdom. It says, Second Chronicles chapter 11, verse 1. And when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he gathered of the house of Judah and Benjamin 180,000 chosen men, which were warriors to fight against Israel, that he might bring the kingdom again to Rehoboam. You see that? We just read that in 1 Kings chapter 12, verse 21 on down. We just read that, okay? Verse 2. But the word of the Lord came to Shemaiah, the man of God, saying, Speak unto Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and to all Israel in Judah and Benjamin, saying, Thus saith the Lord, ye shall not go up, nor fight against your brethren. Return every man to his house, for this thing is done of me. And they obeyed the words of the Lord, and returned from going against Rehoboam. So we just read it in 1 Kings chapter 12, verses 21. Let me make sure I get y'all the right verses. Verses 21 down to 24. Okay? So mark that in your Bible if you don't have that. Okay? It's the same history. All right? Now, Chronicles gonna go in, like I said, Chronicles gonna go in more in depth dealing with Rehoboam and what he did. So, verse 5. And now Rehoboam started building cities in Judah. So this is what we're gonna go into now. Verse 5. And Rehoboam dwelt in Jerusalem and built cities for defense in Judah. He built even Bethlehem and Etam and Tekoa, Bershur, Shekoah, Adullam, and Gath, and Marshah, and Zip, and Adoram, and Lachish, and Eskah, and Zorah, and Ahajalon, and Hebron, which are in Judah and in Benjamin, fenced cities. So these are the cities that Rehoboam built it. Okay, verse 11. And he fortified the strongholds and put captains in them, and store of victuals and of oil and wine. And in every several city he put shields and spears, and made them exceeding strong, having Judah and Benjamin on his side. So at this point, the only tribes that was with Rehoboam was Judah and Benjamin. Okay, Judah and Benjamin was the only two that was together at this point. Let me read on. Verse 13. And the priests and the Levites that were in all Israel resorted to him out of all their coasts. For the Levites left their suburbs and their possessions and came to Judah and Jerusalem, for Jeroboam and his sons had cast them off from executing the priest's office unto the Lord. Right? So we read about that. Let's go back to that history. 1 Kings chapter 12 and verse 31. So now, when the split happened, all the priests were scattered throughout the tribes in suburbs. But when the split happened, Jeroboam set up priests of his own because he knew had he had the Levitical priests within the nation, when it's time to go to Jerusalem, they would have had to go up to see Rehoboam again. He said, nope, we're not going up. That's why Northern Kingdom went into all out idolatry, right? So let's go back to 1 Kings chapter 12, verse 30. What is it? Almost. I guess I'll start at 25. It says, 1 Kings chapter 12, verse 25. Then Jeroboam built Shechem in Mount Ephraim and dwelt therein, and went out from thence and built Penuel. And Jeroboam said in his heart, now shall the kingdom return to the house of David. Just like I said, if this people go up to do sacrifices in the house of the Lord at Jerusalem, then shall the heart of this people be turned again unto their Lord, even unto Rehoboam king of Judah, and they shall kill me and go again to Rehoboam king of Judah. You see, both of these kings was off. They was tripping. We had a lot of drama going in right here. One king, both of them were power tripping. Okay, Rehoboam, he wanted all the tribes. Jeroboam like this. No, we ain't dealing like that. I'm gonna do my own thing. No unity at all. No unity at all. Nobody was in a unified mind state. But like the Lord said, this thing was of him. It says, whereupon the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold, right? So now he's taking bad counsel. Whereupon the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold, and said unto them, it is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. Behold, thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. And he set the one in Bethel, and the other he put in Dan. And this thing became a sin, for the people went to worship before one, even unto Dan. So this is where we read about Northern Kingdom going into full idolatry. Every king that you read about of the Northern Kingdom was evil. A lot of times when you read about Northern Kingdom kings, it always refers back to such and such king following the ways of Jeroboam the son of Nebat. Why? Because Jeroboam the son of Nebat ushered in the Northern Kingdom of Israel to go into full idolatry. And guess what? They never returned back. We still trying to gather them back from the idolatrous mindset to this very day. So it says, and this thing became a sin for the people. And this thing became a sin, for the people went to worship before the one, even unto Dan. And he made an house for high places and made priests. Here's the point. And made priests of the lords of the people, which were not of the sons of Levi. So now, when we go back to Second Chronicles, chapter 11 and verse 14, for the Levites left their suburbs and their possessions and came to Judah and Jerusalem, for Jeroboam and his sons had cast them off from executing the priest's office unto the Lord. That's 1 Kings chapter 11. You can start from verses 25 all the way down to 31. 31 is the point where it says he made the lords of the people which were not of the sons of Levi. Okay? So this is where so when he did this, this is where we read about Levi being joined unto Judah and Benjamin. That's why we have now, which is the southern kingdom of Israel, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. This is where Levi, when you read in 2 Chronicles chapter 11, verse 14, Levi goes to Judah. Okay? Hope everybody got it. All right? So now, I see y'all staying with me. All praise. We almost done, Israel. We got about 5 minutes. All right. So we got that. Let's now go to First Kings chapter 14 now. Getting some more history with Rehoboam. Hopefully we can go and finish this out dealing with Rehoboam. First Kings chapter 14, and we're gonna read verse 21. Now we're gonna go into the end of Rehoboam reign. Okay. First Kings chapter 14, verse 21. And Rehoboam the son of Solomon reigned in Judah. Rehoboam was 40 and 1 years old when he began to reign. So you see that Rehoboam was 41 years old, okay, when he started to reign. And he reigned 17 years, okay. That was the time of his reign in Jerusalem. All right. Rehoboam reigned 17 years in Jerusalem. The city which the Lord did choose out of all the tribes of Israel to put his name there, and his mother name was Naamah and Ammonitess. Let's see here. Okay. Um, verse 22. And Judah did evil in the sight of the Lord, and they provoked him to jealousy with their sins, which they had committed, above all that their fathers had done. For they also built them high places and images and groves on every high hill and under every green tree. And there were also Sodomites in the land, and they did according to all the abominations of the nations which the Lord had cast out before the children of Israel. So Judah went off too. Judah started going to idolatry. They got Sodomites in the land. They went off. And you know, every time we went off, let me show you what happened. Verse 25. And it came to pass in the 5th year of King Rehoboam that Shishak, king of Egypt, came up against Jerusalem. Every time we went into the midst of sin, the Most High would send the nations in to take us into captivity. This is the lesson that we have to understand and learn. Every time that we went off like this, the Lord sent the nations in there to jack us up. Let me get what's that? Psalms 17. I think that's it. I'm shooting from the hip. Psalms chapter 17, Psalms chapter 17, verse 13. It says, Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. See that? The Lord bring the other nations to be his sword when we go off. So now, when we go back to 1 Kings chapter 14, verse 25, and it came to pass in the 5th year of King Rehoboam that Shishak, king of Egypt, came up against Jerusalem, and he took away the treasures of the house of the Lord, and the treasures of the king's house. He even took away all, and took away all the shields of gold which Solomon had made, and King Rehoboam made in their stead brazen shields, and committed them into the hands of the chief of the guard, which kept the door of the king's house. And it was so, when the king went into the house of the Lord, that the guard bare them and brought them back into the guard. Now the rest of the acts of Rehoboam and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the chronicles of the kings of Judah? And there was war between Rehoboam and Jeroboam all their days. You see that? So even after the split, Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom and Northern Kingdom still was beefing. They were still warring, right? And Rehoboam slept with his fathers and was buried with his fathers in the city of David, and his mother name was Naamah, the Ammonitess, and Abijam, his son, reigned in his stead. Okay? You also read about the history dealing with Shishak when you go to Second Chronicles chapter 12. When you go, y'all get time, because we're gonna end the class in a minute. Go back and read Second Chronicles chapter 12 and verses. It's got 16 verses in it, all the way down to 16. It's gonna go more in depth with the history of Shishak. All right. So the next king, let me go back and read 1 Kings chapter 14, verse 31 again. And Rehoboam slept with his fathers and was buried with his fathers in the city of David. And his mother name was Naamah the Ammonitess, and Abijam, his son, reigned in his stead. So all praise to the Most High Israel. So hopefully, Lord's willing, next class we can go into his son Abijam and the history dealing with him. So I pray Israel, y'all got a better understanding of Rehoboam. All right. We doing a series of the kings of Judah. All right. Rehoboam was done this morning. I'm Officer Michelle coming out of IUIC Raleigh with your history in the AM. And with that, I say shalom, most high Christ bless.